Joining us live right now is DeWitt Lacy. He's a prominent civil rights attorney for the John Burris law firm. And DeWitt, if we can start with the question, what does this mean for the social justice movement and specifically today's verdict for future cases?
Well, thanks for having me, Chuck, and thanks for the question. Look, I think it means that it should show an opportunity for prosecution around the nation to be more open to the idea of police reform and to actually prosecute law enforcement officers when they disobey and or disregard the law. Of course, we have, that issue kind of front and center here with Gaston taking the helm here at the district attorney's office, but maybe it will lead to more prosecutions of officers who violate folks' civil rights and or kill and hurt them unnecessarily.
We heard the judge in court today mention the word appeal. Is there likely to be an appeal in this case? Any reason this verdict could be overturned?
Colleen, great question, and thank you for that. I think there is absolutely going to be an appeal. Now, given that he was found, that is, Chauvin was found guilty on all three counts, I think the likelihood of overturning the verdict of itself, in and of itself, is probably not going to happen. Now, if it were to only have been the third-degree murder charge, I think that's a different story, because that is a matter that is going to go before the Minnesota Supreme Court and could end up in an overturning of a third-degree charge. But being that he was also convicted on the second-degree murder and the manslaughter charge, I just don't see that happening. I think the verdict is going to stand.
I want to take this opportunity to ask you a question. And we've all seen video when the guilty verdicts came down of Derek Chauvin in court showing almost no reaction, darting of the eyes, but that was about it. Did you find that unusual?
No, and part of the reason is, look, I do this for a living as far as prosecuting officers. Officers are trained on how to appear in court. That is their conduct, even how they testify. They're trained. They're trained witnesses. So it did not surprise me that he did not show any great outburst of emotion. I did notice the darting of the eyes, and of course we can't see his mouth because it was covered with the mask. So who knows what was going on under there. But I thought the darting of the eyes definitely showed some concern and worry from him. But, other than that, I wouldn't expect him to do much more, given the training that officers receive about how they should appear in court and what that means to juries and the judge when they are there.
There are 3 other officers charged in George Floyd's death. To a degree, they are lesser charges. But if you're sitting with them right now, do you envision maybe plea deals coming up, or, given what happened in court today, guilty on all 3 charges?
I would think there's got to be some plea deals, Colleen, that are coming up and will be offered to the other officers who are going to be charged. Now, look, they certainly did not have their knee on George Floyd's neck, but the idea of positional and restraint asphyxia is that it doesn't have to be the knee on the neck. It could be the knees on the back and are forcing someone down on the ground. And that's the liability that the other officers are going to have to deal with. Have several cases like that right now, actually throughout Southern California. So it is not something that's necessarily going to go away. Will there be plea deals offered? I would imagine there will be. We'll have to see whether or not the defendants are willing to take those, or are they going to take their chances and try a jury.
DeWitt Lacy, we certainly appreciate your perspective and joining us this afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Chuck.